wait, Africa? Did I say Africa? That makes no sense. Aren't penguins supposed to be in cold, freezing temperatures? Well, no. There are 30 millions of penguins in the entire world, so the number is not exact. Larger penguin species are found in cold climates where their large body mass enables them to cope with the conditions, while smaller penguins inhabit warmer climates. Out of the 17 species of penguins, all live in the southern hemisphere, but this does not mean cold climates. So, what even is a penguin now that I've destroyed your rules? Well, penguins are known for their distinct tuxedo-like appearance that is called countershading, a form of camouflage that helps them keep them safe in the water. The black back blends easily with the dark water, and the white belly, when viewed from below, blends with the sun's light shining through the water. Another thing is that they need plenty of fish, krill, squid, and crustaceans to be able to survive, which is why all penguins are always living nearby to the water. The African penguin again. So now let's talk about what phylum it belongs to, chordats. So chordats are a great phylum, and they're all the animals possessing a noctochord, a hollow dorsal nerve cord, femoral slits, an endostyle, and a post-anal tail. If you can remember all that, well, let's move on to aves, which is its class. So aves is the bird class. You've seen birds before, I am sure of it, so you will probably know that birds are feathered, winged, two-legged, warm-blooded, egg-laying vertebrates. Birds are characterized by feathers, a beak with no teeth, the laying of hard-shelled eggs, and much, much more. So a penguin is a type of bird, and the African penguin is a type of penguin, and oh my god, I'm so lost. Here are some other names of African penguins. So you got Blackfoot penguin, Jackass penguin, Scientific G, whatever that says. Also, the African penguin, if you find out somehow with your really clever mind that the word Africa is in there, you might figure out that that name comes from the fact that the penguin is the only penguin found on the African coast, and it is believed to be one of the first penguin species to be discovered by humans. Isn't that crazy? So, oh no, there's only some African penguins left, and you know why? It's because it's a protected species because of the frequent oil spills on African coast, which is very, very, very rough. Let's get into the behavior and evolution of things. So the African penguin has a very distinctive feature. It's these pink glands above their eyes which help them cope with the temperature climate. The hotter the African penguin gets, the more blood is sent to these glands, and the pinker they get, so the sweat glands can be cooled by the surrounding air. They're one of the only penguin species to be found in non-freezing conditions and cope with this by burrowing, emerging at dusky dawn, and using the pink glands above their eyes to cool the blood down. African penguins can often be found grooming each other, which is not just for practical cleaning purposes, but also for removing parasites and rearranging feathers, constantly strengthening the social bond between the pair. Their courtship display, though, is crazy. Let me just show you what happens. So if you caught that, they had some really, really cool donkey-like sounds exchanged, which is a very key part of their vocal evolution. Now let's get into what would happen if you were to cut open a penguin. I mean, please don't, but if you did, you would find this in its digestive system. As you can see in this diagram, that there is not a crop. In fact, many bird species don't even have one. Crops are mainly for seed-eating birds. But aside from that, you can find that there's a stomach, which has a big muscular bag and a glandular lining of the top part that is coated, a muscular part of the bottom. Occasionally, penguins swallow little pebbles that might aid their digestion of fish, squid, and crustaceans. They have a liver and a pancreas that produces necessary elements to aid their digestion. The pancreatic juice delivers the regulation of acidity in the stomach and supplies enzymes for digestion. From here, almost all the food goes into the intestine, where all the rest of the material is extracted and this leaves the body through the cloaca. Here are a few other things about the African penguin is that it has a variety of different energy sources. You can take a look over here and see how the food chain of the penguin works. In addition, for the circulatory system, there are a few evolutionary adaptations here too, guys. So they lack feathers on their legs and have bare patches on their faces. Excess heat can dissipate through these feathered areas. If the body becomes too warm, blood vessels and the skin dilate, bringing heat from within the body to the surface where it dissipates. So birds have a very similar plan to the rest of vertebrates. The central nervous system is made up of a brain, a spinal cord, and nerves. The brain is situated inside the skull and connected to one of the ends of the spinal cords, which, as the name suggests, runs down the center of the spinal column. Wow, these guys are so awesome. How do we keep these puppies going? Wait, not puppies, African penguins. Oh, reproduction. So here are the steps to make another African penguin. Wouldn't that be really, really fun? Penguins reproduce sexually. This means that they have two gametes, which are called, which is what they are called, and they combine to form one single cell or zygote. Pairs bond together and will return to the same breeding sites year after year. They start breeding from between 2 to 6 years of age, but normally at 4 years old. They have a very interesting courtship display, which you noted, and also, aside from those donkey-like sounds, the male also does this cool shuffling dance around the female, periodically touching her bill end, if you know what I mean. So about 80 to 90% of pairs remain together in consecutively breeding seasons. That's better than humans. And some are known to have remained together for over 10 years. That is much better than humans. Wow, almost done. Some more fun facts. They can hold their breath for under 2.5 minutes, can swim up for up to 20k per hour, and, they do some other cool stuff. But that's it for now. Some resources. See you guys.